Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. Season 2.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
Zubrovka bison grass vodka with a pinch of apple juice is the foremost wartime beverage of any Soviet war. Enjoy with a loaded Kalashnikov or a bowl of yesterday's soup.
On today's episode, we will be talking about the Grand Budapest Hotel. This is a 2014 film directed by Wes Anderson and stars Ralph Fiennes, Jude Law and Saoirse Ronan. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows. A writer encounters the owner of an ageing high-class hotel who tells him of his early years serving as a lobby boy in the hotel's glorious years under an exceptional concierge. Here is an original song to support the synopsis.
In this old hotel, a lobby boy did tell to a writer a story and his days of glory of a world-class concierge. His name was M. Gustav H. Of a world-class concierge. Boy with an apple starts to grapple fascist wills and shackles, but zero will come through for Gustav, his hero of a world-class concierge. His name was M. Gustav H. Of a world-class concierge. Boy with an apple starts to grapple fascist wills and shackles, but zero will come through for Gustav, his hero of a world-class concierge. His name was M. Gustav H. Of a world-class concierge.
Let's start with some facts about the film. The scene in which Ludwig, Harvey Keitel, says "good luck kid" before slapping Zero, Tony Revolori, across the face was shot 42 times until Wes Anderson was satisfied.
What?
Keitel actually slapped Revolori each time.
What? How many words is that? How much lines of dialogue is that?
It's 3 words slapped 42 times across the face.
What the fuck?
Now, I would find it an honour to be slapped in the face by Harvey Keitel. I would love for that honour to be paid for. So every time he got slapped, Revolori must be like, it's starting to sting a bit now. But he's got to be like, well, you know what? This is my breakthrough role. Harvey Keitel, an all-time great, is slapping me pond the face. I'm going to take it.
Well, you'd love it.
I think I would love it.
It's because you're a submissive bottom.
Okay. I was just going with the fact that I really like Harvey Keitel and I would be really happy to be working with Anderson.
I find that amazing, like how many variations you need for 3 words and 1 action.
Yeah.
To have to keep doing it. No, do it again. Do it again. I wonder if they got annoyed or enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, it speaks to Anderson as a filmmaker, doesn't it? Many other filmmakers would be like, it's a little slap around the face. It's less than a 2-second scene. He just gives him a little clip around the face and goes, good luck, kid. That's it.
He's not a filmmaker. He's a dream weaver.
Oh, I like that.
Accidentally became a filmmaker.
I do like that. According to writer, producer and director Wes Anderson, the cast stayed in the same hotel, the Hotel Bourse in Görlitz, Germany, during principal photography. He insisted all makeup and costume fittings happen in the hotel lobby to speed up filming. The owner of the hotel appeared in this movie as an extra working in the front desk of the Grand Budapest Hotel. After filming ended for the day, the crew often returned to find him at the front desk of their own hotel. That's another lovely little Anderson fact that just ties into the sort of person he is. so meticulous.
It's so Germanic.
Yeah.
Everything in the film is so Germanic.
Yeah.
Lutz.
Yeah. But I just love the fact that someone who actually works at the hotel it was shot in got to be in the film, but then still had to go and do his normal shift. I love stuff like that. Facts like that are great.
Yeah, imagine that.
Because you get one foot into this completely different world to you're used to, and then afterwards you still have to return to what you do each and every fucking day.
That's kind of that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. But I guess most of us...
there's Harvey Keitel over there. There's Adrian Brody. Can I go over there, please?
Yeah.
No. File.
Yeah.
File 600 receipts.
Yeah.
Go back to work. Ha!
Yeah, imagine that, checking people in after like sharing a space with Ralph Fiennes.
Oh, picking up someone's recently eaten from dinner plate outside their room and it's been left 3 or 4 hours. It's congealed the sauce and you have to get a scourer on it. And people's tongues have been around the utensils.
People act different in hotels as well. They would never pull that shit at home.
Shit with the door open a lot.
Yeah.
In hotels. It's almost like, I'm away. What do you mean?
Yeah. I shouldn't have to shit in privacy. I'm on holiday. I can do it in front of everyone. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just love that. When I hear facts from a filmmaker that's so meticulous, even in his setup, in principal photography, he's like, it has to be done a certain way. It has to be done like this. You will have to be here at this time. You will have to do like that. I like to hear that a film that is so uniform in design, in aesthetic, the telling of its story, all of these things is exactly the same behind the scenes as it is what you're seeing on screen. I just love that.
Can you imagine him wrapping a Christmas present? The lines, the most minimum amount of tape. It would be the smartest present ever, and it would be a book on how to clean your vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
But it's not the present, it's the presentation. That's the true gift Wes Anderson's given you.
Yeah.
That's it.
They are 2 great quotes that you've come up with in the first 2 facts.
It's hard not to quote when you watch his films.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think he's probably got one of the greatest present rappers in the world. I'm thinking akin to Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson in Love Actually. I reckon he's got someone like that in his employ to wrap every single present, whether it's an Easter egg or a yacht. Imagine wrapping a yacht. That's ridiculous, but you know what I mean.
That is pretty cray-cray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it though. I see these beautifully aligned packages under his Christmas tree. Like, everything's got to be perfect. I've got a lot of time for that. It's very feng shui.
Yeah.
He's the feng shui of directors.
Oh my, you've done another one.
Fuck.
Do you want any more? Should I just go on to the final fact?
No.
Yeah. The Grand Budapest Hotel is included among the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Schneider.
Schneider! Man.
I love to see it.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know.
Sweet.
I love to see it.
Yep.
And we've said many times, there's been a good few Schneider films in this podcast. It's nice to see a bit of variety because for me personally, the Grand Budapest Hotel is just a phenomenal feat of filmmaking. I just love it.
Comedy gold.
Yeah, just the independent, its unique personality, like the characters, the way they're written in it, the dialogue, the performances, everything. So I'd actually be surprised that if it wasn't in Schneider, you'd think a filmmaker like Anderson would be in there somewhere, and I'm glad it's for this one.
Yeah, I think this is his big boy, isn't it?
I'd say so.
This is peak Anderson.
Yeah, I know there's other people out there that think like one of his earlier films are more elite. I know there's big people that like Royal Tenenbaums and those ones.
I was too young when I used to see Royal Tenenbaums and Steve Zissou's Life Aquatic. I was too young when I saw him in video shops and stuff. And, you know, when you've been watching films like bloody Die Hard or Seven or something, to watch something so arty, so odd, it's not for kids. It's not, you just don't get it. You can't appreciate it as a kid.
It's so alien to what I'd ever seen. Like there was my life before seeing a Wes Anderson and my life after. And I do think
that's a good quote.
Oh, well, I've come up with one as well.
That's good.
But I think if you don't know what you're getting into when you're watching a Wes Anderson film, I think it takes you a while to sort of adjust to the climate of it. Because of the first one I saw, like you, was I think probably The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
I turned it off. I was too young.
I was like, what is this? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like, it's too silly. Like, I can't grasp what this story is trying to tell. I couldn't even appreciate the aesthetic of it because it is so different.
Yeah.
It's certainly a film I'd love to show to someone like my parents or someone that isn't a huge film fan or someone that has if you said to them Wes Anderson, they would look at you with a puzzled face. Who the hell is that? I'd love to sit and watch that with someone that has no idea who the man is or what his films are about.
What do you think's his most user-friendly film?
I'd say this.
I'd probably say his animations.
Maybe, I was going to say maybe Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah. This for live
maybe
action.
Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
One of them, yeah.
Like, I could sell Fantastic Mr. Fox or Isle of Dogs to my 4-year-old.
Yes.
Easily.
Yes.
I could not sell Grand Budapest to most adults. I've got brothers and friends. If I was to say, sit down and watch this, they'd be like, what is this?
I think out of all of his non-animated films, I think this one is the easiest, is the quickest to grab you as an audience member, because Ralph Fiennes come into play quite early on and he's so endearing a character. Like, I think if nothing else, you see a performer like Ralph Fiennes in this role, I think that's enough to pull most people in, I'd say.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, I'd love that as a little experiment. And a Wes Anderson film show to people of different groups, different intelligence, different tastes, different backgrounds, and see what they came away with it from people that have never seen it before. That is a study I'd like to partake in.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
What did you like about the Grand Budapest Hotel?
Dialogue. If, like me, you were blessed with having seen Bruce Robinson's Withnaw and I as a youth, then Grand Budapest cannot disappoint. I'd go as far as to say Richard E. Grant's Withnaw influenced Gustav's character and dialogue, charming yet fierce and grotesque. May I quote some lines from the film?
I would like you to.
I might just, for the next 20 minutes, quote lines.
Okay.
But I'll try and get through it as quick as I can. Okay, Gustav. There's really no point in doing anything in life because it's over in the blink of an eye. Next thing you know, rigor mortis sets in. It's very Withnaw, that is.
It's great.
She was dynamite in the sack, by the way. She was 84, Monsieur Gustave. I've had older. When you're young, it's all fillet steak, but as the years go by, you have to move on to the cheaper cuts, which is fine by me, because I like those. More flavourful, one might say. Why are we stopping at a barley field? You filthy goddamn pockmarked fascist assholes, take your hand off my lobby boy! Monty, you terrible cunt!
Yeah.
Withnaw, I'm sticking to this Bruce Robinson
I
theme.
see the parallels.
I've got another one. You see, there are still faint glimmers of civilization left in this barbaric slaughterhouse that was once known as humanity. Indeed, that's what we provide in our own modest, humble, insignificant... Oh, fuck it.
And takes a drink of his wine, doesn't he?
Last one. Who's Gustav H? I'm afraid that's me, darling. That fucking faggot! He's a concierge!
Yeah, the film is so quotable, and I find great joy in not watching the film for a while and then putting it on and just being reminded of the quality of Fiennes' performance, the line delivery, the dialogue, like you say. And I've never realised that before. I got to watch Withnail and I a lot later than most. You showed it to me, and it's great. It's great for dialogue. I'd never matched those two characters, but now you say it and you paired those two lines of dialogue up together, I see where you're coming from.
It's the polite absurdity, so they're quite well educated. They're both very well pronounced, but they can be absurd, like come out with outlandish things. Like Bruce Robinson writes very similar to the way this film sort of comes across.
It's that charming chaos, isn't it?
Yes, and I love that. Gunther was slain in the catacombs. That's the guy who pulls a little blade, the throat slit, and jumps down, kills 5 guards.
And then Fiennes turns around and goes, I'd consider that a draw.
I consider that a draw. It's just later when he says Gunther was slain in the catacombs.
Yeah, he is great in this. And the dialogue does a lot of the heavy lifting. I totally agree with you there.
Oh my God, can I just do one more?
You can.
I'm sorry. It's just this one killed me. This is actually a voiceover, so it's a bit separate from it. Mr. Gustave insisted on an immediate and thorough cross-examination, during which he presented Agatha with a porcelain pendant and 5 dozen individually tissue-wrapped white tulips in a box the size of a child's coffin.
Yeah. Such a beautiful sentiment alongside such a devastating comparison.
Oh man, that killed me in the box the size of a coffin. Right, second, loyalty without question. Zero and Gustav are one of the greatest duos to grace this screen. They're up there with Rick and Morty, Jules and Vincent, Withnaw and I. Brilliant to watch as a duo. Love them.
Fantastic.
I could watch spin-off series of these two. in a
happily.
heartbeat.
Well, all day long, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I love the way that at first he's a little unsure of this new lobby boy that hasn't been vetted by him yet, and then he grows to absolutely adore him.
Yeah.
It's when he loses his head because he didn't bring his favourite perfume.
Père de Lure. Or
Yeah,
something.
and then he asks him about himself and then immediately subtracts and apologises for the way he had an outburst and calls himself terrible. That's brilliant. Their dynamic, the way they bounce off of each other is, yeah, like you say, one of the best in cinema of all time, I think.
The loyalty, man, it's just, it absolutely is that every time the train gets stopped and Ralph Fiennes is so polite and then he just blasts into the guards. Twice it happens. And it's how when Ralph Fiennes gets punched by Adrian Brody's character after he finds out about Boy with Apple. So then Zero punches Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
And then Willem Dafoe punches him.
Yeah, it's great.
I love their loyalty. It really, it made me cry.
Okay. There is, all joking aside, there is moments when he speaks about what happened to Gustav when he's an older man. I do find myself each time I see it get a little lump in my throat, and it's that camaraderie, it's that endless loyalty. It's like he can be spoken to like an absolute dickhead, but he's still there like a loyal dog, and it's just that connection they have. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's sad Gustav never got to the age where he became a cheaper cut.
Yeah,
for some fillet to touch up.
But then I don't think his quality should have ever declined because he's just such a quality dude.
Wagyu. Wagyu.
I do like a bit of Wagyu.
So a third like. This sold OCD to me.
Yeah.
The way doors click, the way parcels fit in perfect spaces, the way things are not symmetrical or fit for purpose but are satisfying because of it. Everything is purposeful. Nothing is lost or wasted in Wes Anderson films.
Oh, he's a OCD's wet dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything on scene is purposeful. It's not like you're filming an actor on his mobile in New York City and everything in the background on the side, the helicopters in the sky, they could all be by just chance.
Yeah.
Not him.
No.
Every little thing is purposeful.
I mean, even when he's trying to shoot or purvey carnage or chaos, it's smart, very considered,
smart carnage.
Yeah, even when it's like you're being led to believe that people are gritty prisoners are breaking out of prison, it's still so uniform. The way
they get out of bed,
the way the escape is like so regulated and considered. And I think he would not be the filmmaker he is if he didn't have that nuance to his personality.
Detail.
Yeah, it's what sets him apart from everyone else.
The way the Mendel box opens, the chocolate box, it has this wonderful collapse to it.
Yeah.
It's just, I could pick his brain for hours.
Yeah.
If I knew he was coming over, I would do so much weird shit to this house. I would change everything.
I've often wondered with Wes Anderson, do you think that in his real life, he's not that guy? So maybe it's
have to be.
That's what I've always thought. But then there's always a part of me that's like, I wonder if in his everyday he's this hectic mess. And what he does to have that balance in his own life is like when he makes a film where he's in charge of a creative project where he's got full license to do what he wants, that's the time where he can put order into an otherwise chaotic life. I've always wondered that. I was like, I wonder if if you went round his house, if everything would be like a scene in any one of his films, or if he left it just for his films. Is it a case of this is a director with a unique vision and he's like, this is what I'm going to try. Oh shit, it's successful. I'm going to lean into only this. Or if it is just a reflection of who he is as a person.
I think he appreciates smart things and lines. Like he would look at the plumbing of a boiler, look at all the pipes and enjoy the shapes of the pipes. He'd look at the bend and go, if the bend wasn't there, it wouldn't look right. The bend had to be there.
Yeah.
Like he's all into, like there's entire videos with millions of subscribers dedicated to ASMR. And a lot of that is video accompaniment of someone dragging a stick through a bit of sand and making a perfect line and going like that. He probably takes great comfort from things being smart. I do. If I walk in, the living room's smart. The pillars are all plumped up nicely and they're straight and the coffee table's nice and there's a little mug for a little coaster for my coffee. Everything feels better.
Yeah, it sets you up for a good day. I'm certainly that guy. If I come in and everything's tidy and crisp and clean and how I like it, I'm like, it's going to be a good day. If it's a bit messy, I'm like, it's going to be a struggle today. I'll get that right.
My other half never listens to this, so I can get away with like slagging off. She's a messy, dirty bitch.
Okay.
But she's wonderful. She smells wonderful. She's very clean. Personal hygiene's up there. It's real good. You know,
redeeming factor.
But like, she's that person that come in, take socks off on living room floor, put glass of water on living room floor, then like throw a hairband on the floor, and then go and get in the shower, and then go bed, and the whole house is a dump.
Yeah,
whole house.
My partner does listen to this, so I'm not going to share, but I know the pain that you are speaking of, sir.
We, me and Adam share photos of our sides of the bed compared to our other half sides of the bed.
You've killed me, mate.
And it's Wes Anderson on one side, and then it's like Sharon Stone Basic Instinct 2 on the other.
Yeah, it's Reagan from The Exorcist, Green Vomit one side. It's crisp, clean cut Wes Anderson on the other side.
Yeah, we proud.
Yeah,
we're proud.
Oh, there's gonna be backlash from this episode, I feel. Got any more likes for me, or shall I get on mine?
I read it out. I did have more. I had to actually trim them down, mate. I had to trim them down. Yeah, there was too many likes.
It is one of those for me as well. I almost had a tricky time sieving the right three to put forward.
Yeah, it goes without saying, Ralph Fiennes is hilarious in this film.
Yes,
absolutely hilarious. He's marvelous to watch.
Yeah,
they all are. It's got a huge cast. My God, the cast is huge.
Yeah,
you don't have to wait 2 seconds and you'll be seeing a huge actor. It's a great film.
I might have to cut you up there, because if you say another one, I think you'll probably hit all three of my likes, because you've pretty much done it. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to not be a fan of Wes Anderson and touch on those points, because it's marked as red, isn't it? The thing I love most about it, we've spoken about it already in length, it's that aesthetically Anderson. No one quite does visuals like Mr. Anderson, and I absolutely love escaping into his characteristically charming, captivating, colourful and considered worlds. Every single shot is a work of wonderful art, and I continue to be seduced by his symmetry and pleasured by his pastel palettes. He has a singular way of storytelling, and I am always here for his quick, quirky and quintessentially Anderson way of doing things. The Grand Budapest Hotel is my favourite Anderson picture, and every time I visit this film, I have a fantastic stay.
I want to bite some plasticine. I want to bite into plasticine.
Yeah. I want him to arrange my life, my mind, my soul, my body, for every ounce of me to be as organised as his vision that is seen on film.
I don't think anyone can crack that shell, mate.
Nor do I. But if anyone could,
it would be Anderson.
I'd like him to give it a go.
It would be Anderson.
It's just that for me. It's the man himself. It's how he makes his films look. And you know, he's responsible for the vision, but the cinematographers that work with him have got a lot to do with it as well.
What's most impressive about him is he does not care if you don't like them films.
Yeah, that's your problem.
He makes them for his satisfaction, his art, his vision. He is not making films to make millions or billions. That is not his interest. And otherwise, he wouldn't be making these films.
For me, they are the greatest filmmakers.
They are.
Because even if you swing and it's a massive miss, and we're sitting here, and if we was to watch one of his films or another director's film that've got a very unique identity, and said I didn't like it, it was shit, you can never take away from the fact that, well, that was their idea. They wanted to make it. They made it how they wanted to make it.
You're right. Like, you could take any freeze frame from this film, print it, put it in a frame, and have it on a wall. I could take pleasure from looking at that photo.
Mate, if you get the chance to go to the accidentally Wes Anderson exhibition in London,
it's temporary, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think they've extended the stay. I could be wrong there, so apologies if that is incorrect information. But we went a few months back, and it is amazing just to see, like, because there's instances in real life, real architecture, real pieces of nature where it does look like it's an Anderson shot, and it just happens. It's just happenstance.
Yeah.
And then as time goes on, as he becomes a bigger name, I do think designers and stylists and stuff do things to try and tie into what he does. But yeah, for me, the look of this film, it's just out of this world. I'd go as far as say it's the best looking Wes Anderson film, but that might be because it's my favourite. Isn't
that amazing what you just said there, Lo? Look, you can see things in life now and go, that looks like an Anderson film. So I've been in traffic before, look to my left, and in my periphery vision, in the first third of the image that I can see is a bus stop. And then there's a bin next to the bus stop and someone was standing there, and I've just gone, Anderson, Wes Anderson. It's amazing. It's
a lovely gift to people who love film.
And he can rap.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, you're good today. Yeah, but I've been there as well. Like I'll see a lady in a really striking long red coat with a red umbrella next to a red bus uptown, and I'm like, where's Anderson?
Yeah.
I see this, yeah.
A urinal A clean urinal with a fresh soapy cake in it. What are they called? They're beautiful. They smell so good. I mean, I'm talking about the thing that disguises the smell of urine.
I believe they're called piss meringues.
Piss meringue. Beautiful. A urinal has reminded me of Wes Anderson before.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good-looking urinal.
Yep.
Yep. Second thing I love about it, you touched on it already, is Monsieur Gustave H. Ralph Fiennes' turn as the king of concierge is nothing short of spectacular. I love how particular he is. I adore how he is an OAP hound, and I'm filled with joy every single second I see him on screen. I find his relationship and story arc with Zero so charming and genuinely consider Monsieur Gustave H as one of my all-time favourite cinematic characters.
OAP hound.
Yeah.
Old age pussy hound.
Yeah. I honestly every time I watch this film, I'm going to start utilising this film when I'm feeling dark and depressed in winter times, because I can put it on and my mood just lifts.
Well, you share something with Anderson. His favourite is Studio Ghibli.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like 8 or 9 adores them. One of his favourite films ever. It's the only one I'd recognise out of his big list, actually, because a lot of them are French. But it's Clockwork Orange. And then you think about Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Think about the aesthetic. Think about the milk bar, the way it looks. You can understand it.
Yeah. Very deliberate colour palette. Yeah.
Sorry to break up your flow. I was just letting you know that you share a comfort thing with Wes Anderson.
Listen, if I share anything with a man who I consider a legitimate genius, I'm very happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I was right. I thought there was more grief coming my way, so I was bracing myself. No. And the final thing, I mean, there's loads of things I like about this film, and I could go on, but the one that I've picked is the Anderson allies. I'm always amazed at how so many top stars are willing to work for Wes, and I personally have a great time checking off his usual motley crew of talent in every one of his films. When you stop and take stock of the talent on display in the Grand Budapest Hotel, it's actually astounding. Ralph Fiennes, F. Murray Abraham, Matthew Almeric, Adrian Brody, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, Saoirse Ronan, Jason Schwartzman, Lea Seydoux, Tilda Swinton, Tom Wilkinson, Owen Wilson, Tony Revolori, Bob Balaban, Fisher Stevens, and Lucas Hedges. Jeez. The fact there are so many stars that are willing to take small roles speak to the power of Mr. Anderson's talents. And it's only when I wrote that down for this episode that I really thought, fuck me. Most of those actors are leading actors or
have all led,
or very, very strong supporting actors or character actors. All deserve huge credit for what they've done independently. They've all got great performances in them and have shown us that they are good actors. To get that many on board, and some of them have got such small scenes, and as he gets more and more popular, as people get more attuned to his work, you see bigger and bigger stars coming in for smaller and smaller roles. And for me, that's the mark of something special.
Yeah, I it's almost a little gift within itself when you watch his films, when you see these actors pop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, it's the only thing other than the pianist that I enjoy Adrian Brody in. Yeah. I loved him in Darjeeling Limited. And
yeah.
I think he suits these films very well. I actually tricked my brain when I was watching this last night. I was watching it, and for some reason, in my head, I was like, it's Lanthimos' film. I know it isn't. Yeah. But because I watched Grand Budapest 5-6 years ago, since then I've seen Poor Things. Yeah. And because Willem Dafoe's in Poor Things, but also the aesthetic of the towns and stuff. There's like the weird world now where they're blending into two. Yeah, I think Lanthimos took influence from Anderson a little.
Has to.
Must have.
Has to. There is no... I mean, if he has created the worlds he created in Poor Things and has never seen an Anderson film, I mean, that's just the strangest case of coincidence I think that there's ever been. Yeah. Because you're right, the world built in Poor Things looks like something that Anderson has thought up completely. I love the thought that Lanthimos is making these really exciting films that are really sort of not symmetrical or considered, or well, they are considered, but do you know what I mean? They don't have the same genetic setup as Anderson's films, but then there's elements.
Yeah, to start from Dogtooth, and then they're all very different. Yeah, The Favourite's like a period drama, but the dialogue makes it very different from period drama, and then you get Poor Things so dreamlike. Like in the funicular in Grand Budapest, the way it looks as it goes up a mountain, it's almost like a very strange... 2D animation of a funicular going up a mountain.
Yeah.
Poor Things has that with
Yeah.
the boats near Egypt and Alexandria.
I think he must have. I mean, in terms of filmmaking history, Wes Anderson's a little longer in the tooth than Yorgos Lanthimos is, and I don't see how he hasn't taken some influence, especially in those scenes you speak of. But you mentioning about that vernacular, don't you think there are large parts of Wes Anderson films? It's almost like you're watching the greatest 2D platform computer game ever. Every single film, I'm like, why has he not put his hand to making a computer game, an old school platform game where you can only go one way?
Or why doesn't he do a film like Limbo? The 2D black and white, a boy looking for his sister with the huge spiders and shit.
Oi, fuck yeah.
That's because Tim Burton would be in the sidelines going, that's usually my job.
I was good once. Oof. Little bit of Burton bashing out of nowhere there.
Well, Big Fish.
Yeah. I mean,
that's his best.
Yeah, that is his best.
That is his best.
That is his best, yes. What didn't you like about the film, please?
I only got one like, mate. I only got one.
One dislike?
One dislike.
Go on.
Why hasn't Wes Anderson tapped into the talent of Matt Berry? Now that's a man that could play every and any role in a Wes Anderson film. He could do it all. He's designed to be in a Wes Anderson film. Think about it.
Our sweet cheese.
The exaggerated dialogue. The way he says New York City.
I would not be surprised if in the future we see Berry as a on-screen narrator in one of his films. You'll see him, so he does get to act. But it's his voice. Yeah, you're right. I've got a question later that you've kind of already answered, but I've got my answer for it, so we'll keep it in. That's your only dislike for the whole film? That's amazing.
Of course. What's that? What can you dislike about it?
Well,
like you said, it's like playing a 2D computer game. But have you heard of early access?
I have heard of it. I'm not sure I know what it is.
So early access is basically now what game developers do when they want the money before they've done the job. So you can pay full price to access a game that's incomplete. It's totally incomplete. And they'll lie, they'll say, you'll pay £20 now, this game's yours, and all future updates are. And then when they release a very shitty, unfinished game, and then you have to go and buy downloadable content packages to actually make it a complete game by the end of it all, right?
Oh,
with Wes Anderson, he's one of them old school game developers that only releases a game when it's complete.
Yeah.
It's totally complete.
Yeah, if I have to be late on the release date, that's so be it, but I'm giving you a finished product. I'd much rather that.
Full game.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can judge. I can't judge it.
Yeah.
You know, he's created this little world, put it inside a box and packaged it and given it to me. I'm like, what can I do? How can I diss? If I diss one thing in this film, I've got to diss it all. Yeah.
I mean, I can't disagree with you, but I'm a sucker for format, so I have got 3 dislikes and I will share them.
Even Goldblum's fingers falling off was satisfying. Plop, plop, plop.
Yep.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, they were.
No, I'm done. I'm going.
Good. See you later. Well, these dislikes, it's worth saying, they're all diet dislikes. Throw away, ignore them if you want. But I've kept them in because I like Anderson. I'm a man of uniform, and they had to stay. So that's what's happening. Don't judge me. Leave me alone. Don't.
Bad people hold on to bad ideas.
All right, mate. Got a bit nasty from nowhere. I've been praising you all episode.
I wasn't talking to you.
Dislike.
Me.
Yep. Solo stay at the Grand Budapest Hotel. I adore this film. I've seen it several times, and I always enjoy my time with it. However, watching Wes Anderson is a thing my partner and I usually do together. We have watched every single one of his films as a duo, and watching this while she was away almost felt like I was cheating. This decade-long shared experience made a solo watch just feel wrong, and I didn't like that feeling.
You might as well have cheated.
I mean, I feel like she would take the fact that I watched Grand Budapest when she wasn't there a little better than if I went and visited a different hotel, so to speak.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
It is your special thing, though. I mean, if it was a new film and she'd not seen it, fair enough.
Oh.
I think you rewatching to go in there to masturbate watch, if you will, because you weren't partner loving.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a solo love self time.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Solo self-love.
Solo self-love time, yeah. And listen, I'm sure she's thrilled with the fact that we've done an episode on one of her favourite films. I'm sure she's thrilled that we've shared with the group that she's almost an anti-Anderson because she's a messy pup. But it just felt wrong watching an Anderson film because we've been together since this film sort of came out around that same sort of time. So we've watched every one since together. So it just felt a little bit sacrilegious.
You have to be different though. Like, I think it works that my other half doesn't annoy her. That means she's much more laid back. She's a better parent for it.
Oh.
Whereas mess annoys me. You have to have both. Imagine you were both messy. How horrible would that be? Pikeys, basically.
Crack house,
Imagine you're both tidy.
Oh.
It would be really you'd both have sticks up your ass.
So intense.
Yeah.
So I say opposite straight. You can't both be the same thing. That'd be weird.
No,
like
definitely not.
No, God, yeah. Now you say it. If she was as strict with tidying things having a place as I was, there'd be a lot of conflict there probably.
Maybe I should pay a compliment to oppose. To balance it. So he has a lovely temperament. She's calm. She's never angry. I can get angry.
And you did say earlier she has good hygiene, which is the
greatest. Both the girls do. They both smell of roses.
But what I'm saying is, what is the greatest compliment if not the natural smell of scent?
Oh, this is going places.
I don't know. Well, now I feel like I have to clear up that my missus doesn't stink. Like, they are a little untidy. They both have great hygiene. Let's just leave it there. And I'll go on to my dislikes, yeah? My second dislike, and that is that life isn't as organised and as symmetrical as it is in the Grand Budapest Hotel. And that makes me a little sad. I love order and sharp, crisp design. I always get swept up in the beauty of this film, and then always get a bit sad when my everyday doesn't mirror the aesthetics on display here.
Yeah.
Again, these are all nothing dislikes. So my third one, Mendel's Bakery. I'm fully aware that the 3 dislikes I've given are weak. I have a real soft spot for this film, but just like Wes Anderson, I am a sucker for structure and design, so I will give my usual format of 3 dislikes. I don't like that Mendel's Bakery makes me miss my job as a baker, and I don't like that I can't consume wheaty baked goodness.
Well, you can, because I've seen you openly almost kamikaze yourself. You've gone, that's not a gluten-free roll, and still ate it.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble the next day. But you could maybe one day spend £10 on a wonderful little Mendel like little cake. Just eat it, have the craps, have the poo-poos.
Oh, sometimes I do take the poo-poos.
Just do it.
Sometimes I take the poo-poos because they aren't as bad as I prefer having the tastes.
Yes.
So I can have the tastes and then have the poo-poos. And sometimes that's okay. But if I've had a drink and I'm presented with something that will give me the problematic poo-poos, I don't have the strength to go take that away. I've had a drink and I'm just like, no, give it to me. I don't care. But yeah, really minor dislikes. I guess if I was being, I couldn't actually think of a serious one for this film. I couldn't think of one, and for me, it's one of my favourite films. Probably, it's got to be up there. It's got to be in the conversation.
Yeah, when you have a favourite film list, every film should. They shouldn't be carbon copies of each other.
Yeah, no.
There shouldn't be 5 Scorsese films.
Yeah.
You've got to find balance.
If your top 5 favourite films of all time are Saw 1 through to Saw 5,
oh my God.
That's a you problem.
That person, let's not be cruel, is probably mentally ill.
Don't leave your animals with that person.
They eat ketchup.
I eat ketchup.
Direct from sachet.
Then that's problem.
That's the difference.
If you're shotting sauce, there's a problem. If Saw is your film of choice while you're shotting sauce, that's a bigger problem. Yeah.
If you've got a sweet tooth for Saw and you're shotting sauce,
stay away. Yeah, done it. I've got some questions.
Yes.
What are your top 3 Wes Anderson films?
Grand Budapest, definitely. That's number 1. That Pip's number 1. Took a lot from Darjeeling Limited. I say, Darjeeling Limited, because it's a bit different from the others. Fantastic Mr. Fox. I loved it. I loved it, man. I can throw that shit on every Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's important with a director like Anderson, with his varied body of work. I think it's important to throw in some of his animated in there because they're top works. My top 3, obviously, in the first spot is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
See?
Yeah, I mean, I can't praise the film as much as I have in this episode and that not take first position. Second, Moonrise Kingdom, lovely little film. He's got Bruce Willis in it, and I don't know about you, I'd never really see Bruce Willis as an Anderson ally.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's a great little film. You should definitely watch that one. And like you, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Just appreciate it. Love it. It's such a cosy Sunday film, like you said, yeah. You've already answered this question, but I'll ask it again anyway, and then I can add my answer in. Which actor who hasn't already appeared in an Anderson film would you like to see work with Mr. Anderson?
Matt Berry, yeah.
Has to be, yeah. I mean, it's a great shout, and I'm a little envious that I didn't come up with that.
It's the vocal quality and his physicality. You could put him in any Anderson film because their characters are so unique and they're so odd. He fits it perfectly.
Yeah,
perfectly.
Totally see him in that narrator role where he gets to act as well, and I'd love to see him in a meatier role where he's not just reliant on that iconic voice, because I think there's a lot more to the man other than that.
All them deadpan expressions you see in Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
So many characters just looking on and not really. He'd be perfect at that. And when he just delivers any of his lines.
Yes.
Can you imagine him delivering a line in Wes Anderson film?
Yeah.
He was slain in the catacombs. Yeah. I'd love it.
Oh my God, yeah, me too. I've gone with Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes.
Based on his character he plays in Atlanta, that sort of quirky, free spirit, sort of avant-garde dude, and I just think the man oozes charm, charisma and cool, and I think he would look great in an Anderson picture.
He's got an air of mystery to him,
yeah,
and that would work really well as a lead man in a Wes Anderson film.
We
should write to him and tell him that.
Yeah.
I think you've actually smashed that. I would love to see him in one of these films because, like, in Atlanta, it's so true. He sits and observes everything that's occurring around him. He's an amazing observer.
See, I watch Atlanta and I watch his character, Darius, in that, and I'm like, I want to try and be that dude, but I'm too uptight. I'm naturally uptight, natural stress head, but he just, like you say, just sits there and watches and absorbs stuff. Nothing bothers him, and he just coasts along. I want to be that guy.
What about in your heyday of ganja? Would you have been different? Would you be more chill or more paranoid?
I was chill until the paranoia came in.
Oh, so you have to be constantly stoned.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry,
yeah.
man.
Which genre of film would you like to see Wes Anderson direct?
Horror, it's got to be.
I mean, it has to be.
Take the reins, get rid of Tim Burt and just supplant and start doing a couple of horror films.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in the episode the Limbo idea, and I could totally see him making a film like that in black and white and him just tackling a really threatening sort of presence on screen. I reckon he could do it really, really well. I'd like to see almost like a subverted version of his colour palette where it is all in black and white, all really gloomy instead of pastel colours and bright and preppy, just real dark. I think he could do it, and I think he could do it bloody well.
Yes.
What would you rate the Grand Budapest Hotel out of 10, please?
It's got to be a 10 for me. As Wes Anderson goes, it is his strongest one, but it's the palette, like you were saying, the colour palette, the choreography of the set. Everything's intentional, everything's in there. It's just the man achieved his vision and he didn't give a fuck about making money, in my opinion. It was purely his art and he wanted to put it on screen. 10.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've gone slightly lower, but I do absolutely adore this film. It's one of my all-time favourites. The only reason it doesn't pip the post and make it a 10 is, for me personally, a 10 has to be a film that I could watch any day, anytime, whatever my mood put on, and I watch it in its entirety. It needs to be a film, if I'm flicking through, flicking through the channels, I can't go past that channel until I've watched the remainder of the film. For me, the Grand Budapest Hotel, as much as I love it, it's not one of those films, so it does fall short of a perfect 10.
Well, I feel sorry for the films like Schindler's List then, because that means they won't get a 10 from you, because you can't just throw that on any day.
Well, that's we're all different peoples. We're different vibes, different tribes, different strokes, different folks, all that jam.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I still absolutely adore this film, and I'm very happy that you do too. That gives the Grand Budapest Hotel a total score of 19 out of 20. If you like your films to be beautiful, balmy, and full to the brim with big blockbuster talent, or if you've ever wanted to see the king of concierge cater to, clash with, command or control all kinds of colourful characters, as well as cosy up with a collection of cash-crammed codgers, then the Grand Budapest Hotel could be a film for you. The Grand Budapest Hotel is available to stream on Disney+. Consider watching this one if you enjoyed Moonrise Kingdom, The French Dispatch, and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Should we play a game?
Give it a name, give it a name, give it a name now. We birth a plot and then make a trailer. What the plot?
Action!
It's a bit of a lazy one today. I couldn't quite think of one.
Sometimes the laziest ones are the loveliest ones.
I looked at a shelf and I went, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Live action / animation. So
Okay.
you're going to be some real life going into animation for recalling of the past. I want a live action / animation picture based on Art Spiegelman's Mouse. So for people that are not familiar with the book Mouse, Adam got me onto this book, bought it for me, I read it, he'd already read it, loved it, I loved it. It cleverly uses anthropomorphic mice to retell the true story of a Jewish family's experience in World War II during the Holocaust. And it's a true story. So the son, Art Spiegelman, wants to talk to his dad about what it was like in the war. They've since, post-war, they've moved to the US. And so he's, over time, tells his son all the things that occurred. And you see it through anthropomorphic mice, which is a really crazy, clever way of telling a horrific story.
Yeah.
It really worked.
It's a really clever way to show the darkest side of history and humanity without being shocksploitation. It's still really shocking, obviously, but by depicting it in the form of little cartoon mice, it makes it easier to digest while still being deeply, deeply disturbing.
It's a graphic novel, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Footnotes of Gaza, which we both own as well, but that is just real people. You're seeing the suffering through real people.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the mice aspect's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always a huge fan, I've mentioned it before in other episodes, of Redwall when I was growing up. It's like little mice with like swords and shields and stuff and Watership Down. I do love anthropomorphic stuff. Fantastic Mr. Fox, you know. So I want you to give me cast the son, cast the dad. Give me a director that can splice animation with live action.
This is a tricky one.
I don't think it is.
Well, in terms of finding a balance of director is a tricky one, and in terms of choosing a good father-son dynamic. Now, the father-son dynamic is solely based on the fact that I think on their day they're both incredible actors. The father in the Book of Mouse is a lot older gentleman. So for the father and son, the only reason I've casted them is that I think that the son looks like a younger version of the dad.
Billy Crudup and Albert Finney.
No, although that probably would have worked, but isn't Albert Finney no longer with us?
Most likely.
I don't know. Anyway, so, I mean, the title, I'll do that at the end, but it's going to be obvious what the title is, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Cat.
Yeah. I'd go with Clint Eastwood as the dad.
Oh, yeah.
And Hugh Jackman as the son. Because they looked, when Clint Eastwood was young, if you see them side by side, a young Clint Eastwood looks like a young Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And I think they can both, I don't know, I think they would have a good dynamic. They're both established actors. I think that they would both be open to doing something like this. I don't know.
Ridley Scott looks beyond nationalities and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He just wants to make the film. So I don't think there's any issue there. If Clint Eastwood can just put on a little bit of Europe, because he was born in the book, he's born in Poland, he is Polish by all means, but he moves to Europe. So Art Spiegelman will have an American accent. He's mostly a Yank. But yeah, with Clint Eastwood, he'd have to put on some sort of pan-European accent.
So maybe that is a problem, because Hugh Jackman is an Australian, Clint Eastwood is Stone Cold American.
Yeah, but Hugh Jackman can do a Yankee accent.
Yeah.
Done many films.
You happy with that casting?
I think so, yeah.
I want to do it. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know the book, it is well worth your time having a read of the graphic novel. Sorry, it's a gut-wrenching book, but definitely worth your time. So, and for the director, I've got a couple of choices here. This is a tricky one because I want to do it justice, but there isn't. Sometimes with what the plot,
duo directors potentially,
or trio,
has happened.
I don't know, but like you've said before, sometimes when you're on the receiving end of a what the plot, it's the easiest thing. Halfway through you describing it, it's like, oh, it's that. Other times you're scratching your head, you're thinking you want to do it justice. So in terms of directors, you've got a choice. If you want to lean into sort of the amazing animation, you could go the Pascal Theroux and Arnaud Delors route, who were the directors for Arcane. Now, the storyline's completely different to Mouse, of course, but that sort of animation, I think, is so striking, and I think it would do a subject matter as deep and as profound as the Holocaust and the subject material of Mouse. I think they could do a really good job in doing a really gritty, important film with the animation being just as important.
I thought you were going to say Del Toro for a moment, Guillermo, because of his work on Pinocchio.
That's a good idea as well. And the other option I went is Tim Burton, but then he might be too gimmicky for something like this. But he's a man that he's got experience in telling dramatic stories. He's got experience in animation. So maybe he could sort of go away from that goth scene and do something different. So if you had to choose, the wild card of Pascal Theroux and Arnaud Delort or Tim Burton, which one would you?
I think I'd go with the new ones.
Yeah.
I'd think, I mean, if you can pull off a mega animation, all they'd need is a little outside help in regards to doing some live action, because you're only going to see a bit of it. What would be most important is the voiceovers. So the actors you'll see them for a moment at the start when Art comes up the drive, with some shopping for his dad and that, and then he chats to him in the kitchen. His dad's really dismissive in the book as well. He's quite grumpy. He's got a new wife, etc. Things are a bit awkward all round, but then it would transition kind of like at the start, Saving Private Ryan. The old boy's walking up to the grave and he looks at the gravestone, you start to hear gunfire, and then it goes straight to D-Day. Be like that. Once the animation starts, it's probably going to stay most likely in the animation. Yeah. It's good, man. Yeah. Sorry if it's a tough one.
No. I mean, listen,
it was a lazy one by me.
It's not a lazy one, because it is certainly a source material, a graphic novel I would like to see turned into a film, because you'd get more eyes on it. You'd get a bigger audience if that was the film. So, okay, yeah, I'll stick with that then. We'll go with Clint Eastwood and Hugh Jackman as the dad and son. Directing the film, I'd have Pascal Theroux and Arnaud Delort from Arcane, and I'd have to call the film Mouse. By addressing the horror of the Holocaust, Mouse captures the everyday reality of fear and is able to explore the guilt, relief, and extraordinary sensation of survival, and how the children of the survivors are in their own way affected by the trials of their parents. A reimagining of Art Spiegelman's classic graphic novel. The new film from visionary directors Pascal Theroux and Arnaud Delort. Mouse, coming soon.